All right, hello everyone. I'm hoping you're having a good Thursday. Midwest is back this week at COTA. I am partially joined by my partial co-host this evening, Jacko. And Jacko, why don't you say hi and explain how you are partial this week?
Hi guys, yeah. Crash is absolutely right. Partial commentary because my voice is here, but my eyes are not. My eyes are on the Div 5 screen, which is where I'm racing. So yeah, I'm back after you know almost a full season since I did that one race in Division 1 at Singapore in season 3,
Mm-hmm.
and basically 2 seasons because that's the only race I did since season 2.
Where
So
you won.
I'm here sitting in a Haas, and that's right. Thank you, and hoping to maybe get a podium. Obviously not fully concentrated, but we'll see what happens. I'll keep you guys updated on what's happening here when there's a break in the action on Crash's screen.
Sounds good. Looking forward to it. Best of luck there. But before we get into it, lobby's just about to get set up on my end. I'm not exactly sure about yours, but we got the results last week from Division 2, as that is where I will be casting this week is Division 2 at COTA. We saw Vishu's green with the win, a Red Bull 1-2, Tiger NASCAR second, Nicky third with his first podium of Midwest history. Do you know that for sure, Jacko?
I don't know that for sure. Sorry, I can't confirm that.
No, I think it's his first in on Thursday. But anyhow, yeah, Nicky with the podium there. So yeah, congratulations to him. And I think GSR Edgar with his first race in Division Two. But I think he was just a reserve that week. So a couple of good finishes throughout the order, and we'll see what they did to the Drivers' Championship. A Spaceman says hi. Sorry, Spaceman. How are you doing today? Good to see you. Yes, the Division 2 Drivers' Championship here. Now, some of you may be curious on why two of the drivers are labeled in green, and that is because they are ineligible to be dropped down a division, as they are so late into the season to come up into the division that their points are lacking from from it being divided in by two. So they are safe from relegation. So Saffron City, VTech, and Texas Beach are the ones who are in jeopardy there. And yeah, won't you can you see the drivers championship? Won't you take us through the promotion battle there quickly if you have a second, Jacko?
Oof, you got me on the spot there. Division 2 you're talking about, right? Let's have a
Yes,
look.
very
All
tight.
right, relegation. I'm seeing Fuse Rogue, Light Work, and VTech. Is that right? Oh no, Saffron City actually.
Yes. Uh,
Ouch. I mean, Fuse Rogue is not looking good. I've got to say that's an unfortunate situation to find yourself in.
oh, okay. So you're just behind a little bit. So what actually is the two drivers in green, or sorry, the Light Work and Fuse Rogue are actually safe because they joined so late.
Okay,
So it's actually
right.
Texas Peak,
Yeah, because
VTech, and
I'm not
Saffron.
able to view the stream obviously because there's no
Oh,
my connection
okay.
down. So I'm just looking
Oh, okay.
in the Discord.
I
So
gotcha.
are we talking Saffron, VTech, and text to speech? I'm guessing
Ye
then.
yes, they're in the tough spots for sure.
Okay, yeah, that is close. I wouldn't like to be the bottom two of those guys, but text to speech certainly has had some great results recently and in the past. So I'd say Puff Digital and Evil Prime have to keep an eye over their shoulders for sure.
Yeah, 100%. But I mean, are you into your qualifying now? Shall I leave you be?
No, no, you can distract me as much as you want. This is an interesting challenge. I'm not in even in the countdown yet, so it's fine.
Okay, sounds good.
Looking at things might be difficult for me though.
Okay, we'll quickly get into the Constructors Championship here. So very close at the top between Red Bull and Williams. Aston Martin just on the outside looking in. Ferrari all the way back down into 10th. That's a big ouch.
Yes, certainly.
I'm usually expecting you to be a lot more with me in conversation, so I'm trying to kick it to you, but I feel you're set up to be lagged behind a
I'll
little bit.
start concentrating a bit on no, on your comments because I was just responding to some quips.
Okay,
So.
fair
All
enough,
right.
fair enough. You're trying to do a lot of things here.
Yeah, I got three things going at once.
We'll get your quick thoughts on the Constructors Championship there for Division Two. Then I'll kick it into qualifying for Division Two.
Okay, let's have a look here. Again, I'm going to be looking at the Discord, so it might not be updated. I'm seeing a nice fight here between Red Bull and Williams. I think we've commented on that going back many weeks, that the drivers involved are all very talented, and I think, did I see one of them is reserving this week in Division 1, so that might be worth a lot of points. Hard to say. It's going to be very close between those guys. Ferrari not looking so good. That's a big ouch. I don't know if I'm just talking shit at this point and I crashed.
Okay, no, you're good, you're good. We got Division 2 qualifying going here. Evil Prime is on his hot lap, so we'll see how he goes. I'm going to jump on board with, looks like Puff Digital when he gets around to take you through a full lap here at Circuit of the Americas. But like I said, Evil Prime, his teammate, leading the way, sitting in a decent spot here in the Division 2 drivers. Where is he? Actually, he's 10 points clear, as well as his teammate Puff Digital, 10 points clear of relegation. And it looks like Puff Digital actually just teased me a little bit. He comes into the pit. Silent Banshee in reserve here for the Alfa Romeo. Let's go. We got Forza Juve. Yes, we'll get on board with Forza Juve. And he comes down the pit straight, and then he'll come up the hill into turn 1. Wanted to take a good clean line here. Doesn't get on the curb, extends the turn as much as possible, takes clean exits through it. Not as clean as I was taking earlier today when I was practicing this at my friend's house. And this is where it can get fun or terrible, and this is where it's gotten terrible for Fuse, and unfortunately I'll have to jump off him. He drifts out of around turn 3 there and isn't able to get through the slalom. Let's see, is that Saffron City? We'll jump back on board with Saffron City. A man in grave danger here in the relegation thing. He goes purple through sector 1, and he's swinging around turn 8 and through 9, and the quick little left-hander of turn 10 as we come back down the hill into turn 11. You want to get a good setup and a good launch here down the straight / up the straight. You initially come down, and then it brings you back up the hill. DRS wing open, can't miss that. Fuse Rogue comes over with quite the banker of a 151.284, 20 seconds off the pace. So not what you want to see, but I mean, it is a time set.
Who's going for hardest charger there, Crash.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. That is a time set, but I don't know if, like you said, we have the, was the
107%.
107, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Mitch Burns holding fastest lap. Stat, the Australian counterpart of Jacko, going second right now. Saffron City looking like he's just going to try and take a clean lap here.
So Stat and Mitch Burns must be reserving. I believe they're both Division 3 drivers, which is a step up for them, and that'll be really good points for them as well if they get good results in a higher division.
Yes, that would be huge for sure. Currently they're sitting 1-2. Saffron City going over in 4th right now. We have Zat Texas Speech. Evil Prime. He's invalid. Where's Knuckles? Knuckles is coming around turn 11. And a bunch of people are invalid. So we'll ride the rest of this lap out with Knuckles.
We've got 17 participants here in Division 5, dry qualifying and race. I'll let you know when anything interesting happens, other than the car in front of me just crashing into the wall at the start of his lap. Not very interesting.
Wow, okay, so Jacker, you fed this little information off stream, and I'm going to use this for myself if you don't mind, but
okay.
You said that Midwest has gone over 100, or has gone now at 100, over 100 races. The sprint race yesterday in COTA, where I was as well,
No,
where you were, where we all were really. Was it sprint or feature? Pardon?
I'm saying the last race of the season, the last race before it was removed, is going to be exactly 100.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, it's good thing that you finished off that thought, because it was completely invalid the way that I put it. Okay. Is what it is.
Well, I must have.
Off to a great start myself. Pork Chops trying to revive me, hitting it with the 12-month sub.
Ooh.
He's been around, we've been around, Midwest Twitch has been around for 12 bloody months. So it's pretty much the anniversary, really, because this would be the anniversary of the first stream that we did on the Midwest Twitch. So that's pretty huge. Dace going fastest, as I got distracted a little bit there. If you've never turned into this stream before, that happens quite a bit. My Edmonton Oilers do finish off the win against the Bruins with a third period comeback, taking it 5-3 on the road. Huge result, especially in a tough building. Texas Beach needing a good finish here, starts it with a solid time of 132.930, but Dace has it in the mid 132s, 0.483, which burns just about 500ths of a second off of that time, so we'll see if he can bring it back. Houdini in 19th right now, that being because he has no time set, is on his hot lap coming around turn 1.
We got into the 32s here as well in Division 5. 32-8's currently pole position. We have an Australian 1-3 going, albeit with a medium tyre in the middle.
Is that HSVDT, the other Australian?
Yeah, it is.
There you go.
Quite the coincidence, because he's a Division 6 regular, I believe, since he only joined recently.
Oh, okay. But we'll run through the rest of the lap here at COTA. I wasn't able to finish it. We're entering turn 12. You can bite off a bunch of that curb. You want to open it back up and take a clean racing line here through 13. And a couple right-handers to follow. And then swinging back down the dip of 15, which offers some overtaking zones there, as the turn 12, the aftermath of it can bleed out into the turns after, and turn 15 is usually an area where you can see some guy being edged out by another driver. Finishing it hard around 16, 17, and 18, taking clean lines through 19 and 20 is Houdini, and he's going to come over the line in 9th place with 134.366. I imagine he was hoping for more. VTech were tires in the pit, I think. Evil Prime once again invalid. Chief Braids invalid. Monkey Mafia swinging around the right-handers of 16 to 18. Want to keep it clean here. Don't want to go invalid on the outside of 19. Doesn't even test. And through 20. Doesn't get up on the curb at all after the turn, and that'll bring him over in 7th place. Definitely a lot left on the table there. Mitch Burns is about to start in a hot lap. Evil Prime invalid again. Stat seems to be the solo McLaren here. No Nicky.
Nicky got promoted to Division 1 this week.
Oh, so must have been. Oh, yes, he did. No, so they didn't get the reserve that they they loaded up, I guess. So now Fuse Rogue, a driver, as I said before, not in the relegation zone, but is technically, or is in the relegation zone, but is safe for Division 2 for next season. Gonna kind of get his feet wet in the division and see what is to come for next season. Really extending the line of turn 19, doing a really good job getting those tires, those left tires, very close to the line, and does the same for turn 20, then comes over with the fastest lap into the 131.905. So blistering place from Fuse Rogue there, and we'll see if that time can hold up for qualifying. Chief Braids invalid once again, just can't find it. Mitch Burns, the Red Bull teammate here. Comes around the final turn. Oh, just nearly misses out on pole. 1/10 off. Seems like he may have taken a little bit off in the final turn to keep it safe, but I don't think he would have lost that much. SZ Smith comes over the final turn and jumps up a position. Near Nick starts his hot lap. Saffron will start a hot lap. Detail looking for his first time set, and he's got his teammate Forza Juve behind him, who's going to get a little slipstream down the pit straight here, and Detail going 11th with his qualifying time. Not the best one. Knuckles pulling off to the side. Didn't catch who that was going past him. It was Days starting his hot lap. Oh, do we have a Red Bull out of fuel? Yes, we do. Mitch Burns is out of fuel, and I don't think he's going to be able to make it to the back to the garage. He's very far away.
He'll make it. He'll just be capped at like 80 kilometers an hour or something stupid.
There's a lot of drivers in Sector 3 right now, actually. A little bit of a traffic jam.
That's a coincidence, I am too.
Oh, Near Nick's missing the pit entry and just smoking the wall. Very lucky to not DNF. Ouch. Forza Juve finishing his hot lap. Jumps all the way up into third, going to the mid 132s, giving him a good shot at attempting a pole lap after he comes in. He should have enough time here. Dace, we'll see where he go, and he can jump up into pole position, going 131.843. Detail surely is into the pit. Yes, he is. A lot of drivers into the pit for the last time here. Hightower's on a hot lap.
I can give you some intel if you want, Crash, about the state of the game.
Sure.
In that, about 3 months ago, I was involved in a league race with many of the guys that we see in Midwest on a Saturday, which is Scavendy's League. We did this track, and in qualifying, many people were in the 130, like 3-0s. And now I'm seeing lots of 31s and 32s. So I believe the game has since then been patched obviously many times, and it's slowed us down at least a second, if not a second and a half.
Which is kind of funny because the game seemed a lot harder back then.
I guess it's harder to be within the bounds when you're going a bit faster.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how they've done it, but the lap times are slower at this track in particular for sure.
Yeah, well they did wipe away the fastest lap times after that one patch a month ago or whatever it was. So I think they knew it was coming.
You mentioned in Division 2 there was someone crashing going into the pit lane, but not actually out of the session. We just had someone, Cobain, unfortunately our host, crash into the pit lane. So he's out of the session.
Ouch. Still without times from Evil Prime and Chief Braids here. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Evil Prime is still on an invalid lap. Texas Speech did take pole, and that is absolutely massive for him. Still sitting in the relegation zone. Puff Digital, Evil Prime, and Forza Juve just outside. So this is huge for Texas Speech. We're gonna have to keep an eye on the rest of those drivers. Mitch Burns, I think, just started a hot lap as well. Knuckles up from Division 3. looking to improve on his time. He does, jumps up to 9th. His teammate Hightower behind is into the pit. Then we got the Alfa Romeo stack. Monkey Mafia is following Silent Banshee. I imagine he's going to use him for a slipstream down the pit straight. Banshee's going to come over for his hot lap first. Very well timed from the Alfa Romeos. Where's Banshee going to jump? Banshee jumps up into 9th ahead of his teammate. But he might be a little bit too far ahead of Monkey Mafia for that slipstream. Yellow flag in Sector 2. I think that's Evil Prime once again out of fuel, and that will be his qualifying. Or is he? No. No, he's not out of fuel. I think he just spun out. But Monkey just finishing the slalom here, comes out in around turn 8, and then a couple left-handers to follow. Or he might be using his teammate for the slipstream down after turn 11 here. Qualifying is going to end. Get on board with the drivers to come over. Mitch Burns trying to improve on his time, jumps up ahead of Dace. Evil Prime is invalid, and that is it for him. No time set, he'll start 19th. Next over is Knuckles, and then Stat, and then the 2 Alfa Romeos. Around turn 19, and Knuckles is actually into the pit. Stat's still pushing here, extends the boundaries as much as possible, doing a really good job. And could have taken a little bit more out of turn 20 there, but keeps it clean and can't improve. So Monkey Mafia, then Puff Digital over next. Monkey jumps ahead of his teammate. Puff Digital spins on 19. Chief Braids is into the pit. That hurts for Puff, but he's still sitting 7th right now. Smith 630 coming around the final couple turns. Wow, that is about as far as you can extend turn 19 as possible. And he'll come over the line and go into the top 10, taking 4/10 off of his fastest lap. Nero Nick's into the pit. Fuse Rogue still pushing. Oh no, he's not. Sorry, he's in the pit as well. And that will bring it an end to qualifying. Saffron City is invalid. And that is all she wrote. Spaceman, good to see you. So how's qualifying going for you, Jacko? You're a little bit behind us.
Yeah, there's 1 minute left before the time runs out. My qualifying's over. I just completed a lap. I'm currently in 2nd place. I don't know how many people are yet to complete their lap. We've got GSR Edwin currently with pole position. That's a 31.9, I believe. I'm sitting here with a 32.1. And then we've got Hewlett, Guitar Maniac, and HSVDT in the top 5, all on soft tyres.
Well, if you give me a second here, we're going to run through the Div 2 qualifying order here. We see Texas Speech with a massive pole position ahead of Fuse Rogue. Mitch Burns, the other Red Bull, 3rd. Dason 4th, Force UV 5th, Stat in 6th, Puff Digital 7th, Nero Nix 8th, Monkey Mafia 9th, Smith 630 in 10th, Silent Banshee, Knuckles, Houdini, Detail, Hightower, Saffron City, Chief Braids, VTech, and Evil Prime with no time in 19th place. But a very good qualifying there. Huge for Texas Speech being in the relegation zone. I'll pull that up for everyone to see quickly here. Yeah, currently sitting... Oh, that's wrong. Those numbers are wrong. He's currently sitting 18th. And he's behind Puff Digital by 5 points in Evil Prime. He's behind by 20 points behind Evil Prime. And then 36 points, or sorry, 10 points behind Evil Prime, 36 points behind Forza UV. That is math. And I even have the cheat sheet up on the screen for me there. But for whatever reason, I didn't want to use it. And I was embarrassing myself by not doing so.
What were the times at the top crash?
131 point some blah 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 blah.
Okay.
I don't think it was the mid 131s. I think it was the high 131s.
Yeah, it's interesting how comparable then D5 and D2 are. We obviously don't have data from the other 4 divisions. But it's always interesting to see how comparisons work like that.
Yeah, it's still with Division 6 and even 5 coming in at the beginning of last season, things are still kind of working themselves out through the divisions. But I'm sure by next season, probably I'd even say the midpoint of next season, things are going to be a lot more even.
Alright, looks like our qualifying's over as well now. So I can confirm it's GSR Edwin with pole in the 31s as well, 31.9. I'll line up beside him with the 32.1. Then we've got Guitar Maniac, Dissection, Hewlett, HSV, Adrilocdoc, Ulek, Texas Brewster, and Darkness King in the top 10.
Oh, so Ulek is actually the guy that makes all the designs for the stream. So.
Oh, big shout out to him. They look fantastic. I believe he's also a championship leader in Division 5.
Yeah, he's a solid bloke, as they'd say.
Well, I mean, he's first person that's currently still in the league. Because
Yes.
Jonathan Dunk, I believe, is in a higher division now. With double asterisks next to him.
It's Rogue with the follow. I'm assuming that's Fuse Rogue. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. We'll quickly go through the Division 1 Drivers' Championship here. And you can see for yourself that there's another driver who's in technical relegation but is safe for Division 1 relegation. Vishu's Queen sitting with 165 points ahead of Soy Loco, who is very much off the pace, 231 points back. That's a rough go there. Random Serious Young DJ CJ in relegation as well. But still races to go, still battles to fight, so we'll see how those play out. Helg is on the outside. He's 50 points safe, and Super Dinas is 72 points safe. So still some work to be done by those guys there, but technically safer, just simply put, safer than Scuba Steve. And oh, there you go. Bacon with the sub. And yes, Bacon, I do love the resub. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And just know that your money that you used to put towards your sub that we get goes straight back into the league. So for anyone that is curious or thinking about maybe subbing to us, just know that it just goes right back into the league and it goes right to the drivers and whatnot. And Pork Chop saying, wow, best quality ever for me. Where'd you go, Pork? P3. Damn, nice. And last week, Jacko and I were at Portimao with Division 1, and we saw Mystic Joker with the win. Impossible Bacon, speaking of, going second, and Hash going third with a big 3-4 for the Ferraris, with Murph and Sally going fifth. Texas Peach with a big, Murph and Sally going fourth. Texas Peach with a big fifth place up in Division 1. Major points there, so huge for Texas Peach. And finally, the Constructors Championship of Division 1, Alfa Romeo leading the way, 1849, and Ferrari just behind with 1809. So 40 points separate Alfa Romeo and Ferrari. So go check that Division 1 race next, or when Hotspot updates it sometime on the weekend, or straight up to the YouTube channel. But COTA is to come next week. Be sure to tune back in where Jacko and I can bring you Imola with the Division 1 boys. So first time for Midwest to be at Imola. So very much looking forward to that. But we will get back to the action here. The drivers are just finishing up their formation lap, and we can see what is to come for the Division 2 boys here. The final time, actually, that Midwest will be in Division 2 for Season 4 is nearly in the books. We are on race week 14, round 14, whatever you want to call it, 14. 13 races are in the books. We are at this point now. It is very late in the season. Points are massive for championships, relegations, midfield battles, constructor battles. You name it, it is bigger at this point now. All of those mistakes early on in the season can come down to this late season battle. We'll follow Mitch Burns and the boys up into turn 1 in USA, and we'll see what is to take place through the slalom. But very much looking forward to what is to come here. The lights are coming on. The energy is absolutely wild. And here we go. Let's see what Texas Peach can do coming into turn 1. Looks like he's going to be able to hold the lead on Fuse Rogue. Fuse does have the inside line. Dace is looking at the inside of Fuse's teammate Mitch Burns. They go to wheel around turn 1. Still wheel to wheel. Mitch Burns with the inside line coming through turn 3 here. But it's going to be Dace who sends it around the outside and gets the position. Stat all the way back in 7th, following Nira Nix through the slalom here. And you got to be careful here. Looks like everyone's taking it fairly clean. No real disruptions throughout the order. Everyone's still within a second. Love to see it from the Div 2 boys. Softs to hards looks like the tire compound of choice, but you can do the soft, mediums, and if you're bold, you can try and stretch those softs to mediums. Near Nick's looking down the inside line here. Early on in Fuse Rogue through turn 11. Fuse gives him the space, goes around the outside, and holds a position. Texas Speech was under pressure from Fuse Rogue there, or sorry, Forza Juve, not Fuse Rogue through turn 11 there. Fuse Rogue is the one who's putting the pressure on Texas Speech here, coming down into turn 12. But Texas Speech doesn't feel very much under pressure, and different pit stop strategy here shown as well. The soft, hards. I don't think that will ever be in play. Knuckles and Banshee all the way in the back of the pack, getting in a little bit of a tussle. Texas Speech already under some major pressure here as we swing through the turns of early sector 3. And it looks like Fuse Rogue is going to get the move done coming around turn 17, and he goes up into the league. Texas Beach can only hold it for 2 sectors, goes off on turn 19, so that'll be one warning early on here. Still the top 10, all within a second here. Houdini falling off the pace a little bit, but no real moves look to be in the cars. Unless you're Evil Prime, then you're going to see Chief Braid's not too far ahead, but I think Dirty Air kind of puts him back a little bit and can't get the same launch that Chief Braids does, and he falls back over a half a second now. Texas Beach is not allowing Fuse Rogue to shake him though, taking very different lines through the slalom here. Stat and Nero Nix are battling it out, and Stat gets the position on Nero Nix, but by doing so, both of them are now a second and a half off the pace from the top 5, so they're going to have to work together maybe and try and get themselves back up, or close that gap back down. Still Fuse Rogue holding that lead. Texas Beach just over half a second back. Fuse Rogue is trying to shake Text, and a good launch here can do it, but it looks like Text gets just as good. Stat does get that gap just nearly within a second, but not close enough. Evil Prime does get the move on Chief Braids. Actually, no, they're dragging it out of turn 11 here. Up the hill we go, and we're going to come back down into turn 12. And it does look like Chief Braids gets it in the end, but Evil Prime's going to set something up for the inside line. Chief Braids outbreaks him actually. Did initially give him a little bit of a gap, but saw that Evil Prime wasn't even close to getting the overtake, so he closes it before the turn is done, taking the apex cleanly and holding on to 16th place. A lovely little battle in the back of the pack scene between these two drivers. Gorgeous stuff, gorgeous stuff. This one play out a little bit here. These top 5 still within a second of each other. Stat just outside. And Evil Prime once again coming back at Chief Braids, but just can't get the move into turn 1. DRS is now open. Nero Nix has spun and is into the wall. We'll take a peek at him when we come by, and a VSC is deployed. Nero Nix, our Division 2 leader, goes and says hello to Barry R, and he is out of this race. Rough stuff for Nero Nix, and that is looking like his Div 2 championship. Maybe, no, I don't think it is actually. Unless Tiger NASCAR is. Tiger NASCAR must be reserving. No, he's not. He's actually out. Okay. So maybe if there's any race to crash, it's this one for Nero Nix. Just a VSC. His car is off track. Detail is way down in 14th place and needs a massive race needs a race win to take over the D2 championship. But he's in direct competition with Monkey Mafia for the promotion in Division 2. Very close between those two drivers. Only 1 point separates them after 13 races. Before we get back to being green. Hightower as well needing a big race, and he's in the back of the pack. Dace looking for some solid results here as well, getting a little bit of late season form. And now he has found himself still holding on to 3rd place after overtaking Mitch Burns after the first couple of turns. And we look at the position changes from the start, and the big mover right now is 3 drivers tied with 3 positions gained. Chief Braids going pretty wide on turn 20. He's going to be under pressure here from Evil Prime. And Evil Prime's looking to take another position here. Currently sitting with 3 gained, and Chief Braids doesn't want to allow it to make it 4. And he's going to hold on to 15th place. Evil Prime just doesn't have the straight line speed on Chief Braids to warrant to get himself close enough beside for a attempted overtake in any of these turns after the long straights. Looking good through the slalom here, extending these turns as much as possible right on the white line with his inside tire. Doing a good job, and there you go. Chief Braids going deep around turn 8, and Evil Prime's looking at a switchback through 9 and 10, and Chief Braids closes the door in turn 10, and Evil Prime is gonna just hold off and look for a good launch out of 11 here. He's gonna get the slipstream and the DRS help. Chief Braids is trying to get into the slipstream of the drivers ahead, that being Detail and Saffron City, but he's just a little bit too far out, and Evil Prime has the straight line speed now and blows right by him. And VTech and Hightower in the back of the pack are getting really close to each other, and VTech looks like he pulls out there. Saffron and Detail still battling it out after these final couple of turns. After that long straight, and Detail's got the better of Saffron up into 13th place. Wowzers.
Oof.
So what's happening in Division 5?
We just had a VSC release that was a very awkward point, and the Delta went very close to red for me, but I actually caught up to the leader. GSR Edwin's still holding down the lead on lap 3 here, and I got Guitar Maniac right behind me as well, so it's pretty heated battle at the moment.
Yeah, it's extremely tight in Division 2 here. There are a lot of the drivers looking very clean. Unfortunately, we only have one DNF, or sorry, fortunately, as well as unfortunately, we have just one guy out, that being Nero Nix, our championship leader.
Yeah, we just had one timing as well. The Rub HD, unfortunately, from McLaren, created that virtual safety car.
Yes, but quickly, while there's a little lull in action, I thank everyone that is tuning in this Thursday evening. I'm hoping you're enjoying the product that is on place, and if you are, then be sure to shoot us a follow on all of our social media platforms, that being YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram. So if you have any of those, why don't you follow us and show some appreciation for what we do here in Midwest, and we'll show some appreciation of that and put on the best quality product that we have to offer. Dace is very close onto the back of Texas Beach. Texas holding him off and is falling a second and a half back of Fuse Rogue. An overtake was done by Evil Prime on Saffron City. And Evil Prime getting a couple positions, and one importantly being on Saffron, who he is in direct competition with for relegation there. So that's a big overtake for Evil. And Stat getting the second time penalty handed out today, the second track limit penalty as well. Very early, only 6 laps deep. Gotta be careful there, son. In the top 6, you got Puff Digital in behind. He must be pushing the car to its maximum limits. Puff looking really good. He's got a lot of ERS here, sitting in a good spot, 7th place, not too bad. And with the penalty to Stat, he's got the technical track position on him as well. And oh no, what's going on with Text? Text has lost 2 positions very quickly. Make that 3 with Forza Juve getting through. VTech unfortunately spinning out in the S's in the later stages of it, around turn 7 it looks like. Picks himself back up. He's still in 18th place. Stat and Puff Digital are battling it out around turn 12. Saffron City losing a couple positions. He must have spun out as well. He drops back into 17th place. You just put your head down and get back at it here. Monkey Mafia sitting 10th, all over Houdini, who's trying to keep that streak of winning every division that he's in going, but it's going to be so very hard. He's won Division 4, won Division 3, and he's trying to win Division 2, but Division 2 is filled with a lot of elite drivers now. And currently sitting 9th, he needs some solid finishes here. Good time to make up points on the drivers ahead. But Hightower Actually, Hightower is behind, Monkey Mafia is behind as well, and Detail is behind, so Houdini sitting well to close that gap to the drivers above, but still has a lot of laps to go. And Saffron City looks like he's lost it again around turn 19, spins himself back, and a VSC is deployed with Saffron coming into the pits. You got to be careful with the VSE. Now it's a time to where you can time it and gain some time on the driver ahead, but if you mistime it, you can potentially find yourself with a drive-through penalty. Do you have any sort of secret for that, Jacko? If you're able to focus on that question.
What was the question again?
Drive-through penalties, or sorry, not drive-through penalties, but VSCs and kind of timing the VSC ending.
Oh, you just gotta be mindful. Don't go within like 2/10 of being in the red. It's too dangerous. So try and hover around 5/10, and that's as good as you're gonna get. It's just not worth the whole drive through.
Fair enough. Skitley, let me know if that Discord link works. If it doesn't, I can send in another one. And I mean, while you're here, man, you might as well shoot us a follow. I mean, oh, you are following since May. Wow, appreciate that. Look at that, all the way back then. And yeah, full-on safety car comes out on lap 8 of the Division 2 race. Puff Digital was one of the only drivers in the top 10 to stay out. And he's on softs. Oh, hey, look at that. Puff stays out on old softs. Knuckles and Banshee stays on the mediums. And it looks like Banshee was actually given the glitch of not allowed to drag the cars out of the pit, because he did come out ahead of Dace initially, but unfortunately the safety car, or the glitch in the game, forced Banshee to give the position back. Yo, who got the Discord link that works? Yes, 1 second here.
Wow, we've got a lot of different strategies going on up front here in Division 5. But the safety cars just come out. A lot of people pitted. GSR Edwin had the lead. He's gone to mediums. Hewlett had just overtaken me for second. He's gone to softs. I've gone to hards. Behind me I've got a hard and a soft in the top 5. So it's very much 3 different strategies at play. What tyres did they go for in Division 2 there, Coach?
After the pit stop, the 2 leaders, that being Fuse Rogue and Dace, went for the hards. Forza Juve, Texas Beach, and Stat went for the softs. Maybe looking at a 2-stop strategy here. And then, other than that, all the other drivers went to the mediums, or they stayed out. Now, Puff staying out on the softs is very bold. He's going to lead us here, but the safety car, is it going to come in? I don't think it is. Puff, if I were you, I'd just pit, bro. Yes, he will. Okay. So Puff is just going to bite the bullet and take the pit stop. VTech as well is going to pit. Late decisions by these drivers, and they're going to lose some major positions over it. Puff is going to go down to 16th, VTech to 17th. Puff behind his teammate Evil Prime, both these drivers in a relegation battle with another, so no real team orders today. Just allow them to race for their Division 2 lives, really.
We're down to 13 over here. We've lost 4 drivers from when we started. I believe it's been
Ouch.
Demon, Texas Rooster, Cobain, and Rob HD. Unfortunately, for those ones.
Damn. Are you doing Movember, Jacko?
Am I doing Movember? I tend to have a mustache most of the time, so I guess so, yeah.
Well, do you shave away the rest of the face?
No.
No? So you should do.
Shave away the rest of the face.
Yeah.
The way you put that's quite funny.
It's yeah. Not
The eyebrows.
yeah. Other than that, I guess the caterpillars can stay.
Do you crash?
I am doing Movember, and I'm keeping the eyebrows.
Nice.
Yes. But here we go. The safety car is in. Fuse leads us. Dace is in a tough spot here. He's going to try and overtake Knuckles and gets a good jump out of turn 20 here, and Knuckles is already going to be under pressure here. I think Knuckles needs to let him go. This is not your race, Knuckles. And Forza Juve getting Silent Banshee as well on those softs. Getting the old mediums real early. Dace gets through Knuckles, so that's good news for him. Texas Speech is going to be slowed up a little bit by Silent Banshee here on these old mediums, and he needs to try and clear him as soon as possible with Silent Banshee, or sorry, with Mitch Burns on mediums behind. So he needs to do as much as he can on these softs as early as he can. And here we go, Banshee. Texas Speech didn't commit through turn 10 there. And now into turn 11, he's going to follow Silent Banshee once again. Forza Juve trying to get ahead of Knuckles as well. And he's got him down the straight. Come through the slight right-hander on the straight. And Forza has the inside line. Texas Speech as well has the inside line. Stat trying to work on Mitch Burns, but it's just a little bit too far back. Knuckles is still just ahead of Texas Speech. Or sorry, Texas Speech actually cleared Banshee, and Texas Speech is trying to clear Knuckles as well and actually gets the job done. He's up back into 4th place, and he can try and work on closing the gap to Dace and Forza Juve ahead. Stat on these fresh softs has got a lot of drivers on the mediums ahead, and he needs a lot of work done to get ahead of them. But yeah, he's in kind of a tough spot here, going for the softs. Can't get that good of a run out of turn 20, and won't be able to close the gap or be able to take a lunge on Mitch Burns. Breaks very deep and thought about it, but yeah, just not enough there. Knuckles picking up a penalty. He's under pressure from Silent Banshee. A couple of old mediums are under battle here, and Knuckles falls down the order. Stat's going to be able to get him as well. Stat jumps up into 7th. Knuckles drops from 5th to 8th, and now has Smith 630 behind him, and Knuckles goes deep through 11. I'm thinking it's because he's not trying to battle Smith as well. Still no DRS, so it's got to be done the old-fashioned way. Houdini on Chief Braid's attempting to do so, and gets alongside him and has the inside line and then some. And Chief looks for a little bit of a switchback, but he had Monkey Mafia on his inside, and I don't think he had any clue. And then Usher's Monkey very much off track in defense, and Monkey's going to try and take a little bit of a switchback line, but nothing's going to go there. And Monkey's going to hold on to 12th place and picking up a 3-second time penalty as well. Not sure what's going on with Chief Braids there, but he's into the pit now. Forza Juve gets Dace. Now Forza's going to try and break up the road. Texas Speech Still within a half a second to Dace as well as we swing through the slalom. And this is where Forza needs to try and open up that gap to Dace, but it doesn't look like he's able to do so. Evil Prime really close onto the back of Hightower here. The leaders have broken off up the road. 4.5 seconds separate Silent Banshee and Texas Speak. Silent is doing a good job being on these old mediums and holding this position. And Evil Prime's going to think about a lunge down in turn 11, but Hightower is able to hold him off. And now Forza Juve and Dace are battling around turn 12. And Dace is going to force Forza to go around the outside to get the job done, but he can't quite make the move happen. And there you go, a lunge down into turn 15 for Forza. And these softs are going to get the job done. He's going to have to work hard going all the way around the outside through 16, 17, and 18, but does get the move done in the end. Dace is still holding on in third place. Fuse Rogue is just up ahead, and Texas Speech making a very ambitious peeking of the nose through turn 20. And by doing so, kind of sewers himself out of a good launch out of turn 20, but with these softs, gets a really good run up the hill and breaks very late on Dace and gets the move done. And Dace has no choice but to let him through, being on these hards. And Chief Raid spinning out around turn 15, unfortunately. VTech as well spun out a little bit wild as well, and he's all the way back in 16th, and he's collecting himself and trying to put on a good finish in, I think it's his home, I don't want, no, I don't think, I think he lives in the States, but he's not from the States. I've talked to VTech before. But, you know what, COTA is the home Grand Prix for a lot of the drivers here in the Midwest F1 League, so a lot of these guys are trying to put up good finishes here. You know, because this is, and I'm assuming there's potential that some of these drivers are actually even from Texas. Stat in the slipstream, Mitch Burns, he is going to get the overtake done. I don't want to say he's the only Australian, but there's a high potential that he is. Up into 5th place is Stat, and still with only 3 seconds of time penalty, he has settled himself down. Silent Banshee getting overtaken by Smith 630. Smith looking for a real good finish here as well. Reserving in Division 1 a couple of times. Hightower and Detail duking it out. Detail getting a good run out of 13, coming into 15. Hightower has the inside line, the Aston Martin, and there were a couple of Mercedes powered cars, actually, we'll just keep it simple, duking out around turn 16, 17, and 18. Is Hightower with the inside line through 19 here. And they're still battling it out, and we have a Honda powered unit of Puff Digital wanting to get involved in this. Detail going wide, and that's going to allow Puff Digital to get a run out of turn 20 and a nice little drag down the straight. But it is Detail with the slipstream advantage, but Puff Digital's got the inside line, and that's not where I wanted to go. But Puff's still trying to hold out and trying to fight through, and he does get the job done into 14th place. And Hightower loses it and is into the barrier, and that is another car out around turn 2. And that is going to bring out another safety car halfway through the race. The second safety car comes out, and we'll see what these drivers up ahead do. Are they going to pit for the mediums? So this works out fairly well for Silent Banshee. Initially starting in 11th, not pitting, staying out, and he's going to hold on to 8th, and I imagine the whole field is going to pit for the mediums here. Some may stay out, some may, but if they have a second set. Let's see. So Evil Prime won't, and Detail won't. The top 5 drivers all have a fresh set of mediums waiting for them in the garage. Fuse is actually going to stay out here, but 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, 11 as well. Evil Prime stays out. Puff Digital pits. So only 2 drivers not to pit, 3 drivers. Detail actually staying out. VTech is going to make a late dash into the pit. And Chief Braids has another chance to salvage his race. But what kind of tires does he have? He might have another set of mediums. But he's going to stay out on the softs. Silent Banshee actually going for the softs here. And Knuckles for the hards. A couple of interesting choices for the strategies. But Fuse Rogue and Evil Prime stay out on their tires and they sit 1-2. Forza Juve sitting 3rd. Texas Beach trying to find some late season form in 4th. Now once again, we'll bring up the Division 2 Drivers Championship. You can see for yourself that Texas Beach is sitting in 18th and is ahead of Puff Digital, who's all the way back in 14th. So looking good right now. High Tower, Saffron, and Near Nix all out of the session, so not good news for Saffron City, as he's going to need a couple really strong final 2 races to avoid relegation. And Near Nix up at the top, but the only man who can really challenge for his lead in Division 2 is Detail, but he's on an awkward strategy, to say the least. Let's see if I can pick up any information from the other divisions here. Oh, so it looks like there's some things went down.
What sort of things, Crash?
In Division 1?
Yeah.
Well, JC Blackley says, explicit you, what the explicit? This is Div 1 if you didn't know. So.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah. So, yeah, those kind of things are happening. What's the race looking like in Division 5 there?
We're coming towards the end of lap 15. It's a bit spread out at the moment. Edwin's got the lead. He's being challenged closely by Hewlett. Those guys are on mediums and softs. I'm chilling in 3rd, about 8 seconds behind on the hard tyre, hoping that those guys have some issues on those tyres. I've got HSV behind me. He's falling back. He's on softs. And then Agillock is on hards as well in 5th, about 8 seconds behind me. And as I say that, HSV pits. Probably going to go to the medium to the end. So I'm pretty much alone at this point.
Womp womp.
No penalties in the top 3 though.
Ah, okay, that's good. So looking at all the division hosts and the Drivers' Championship, all the hosts are doing really well, and I think Midwest is gonna might be, I won't say in trouble, but
I need an audit.
yeah, some things are gonna happen to the hosts because all of them are doing very well in the divisions that they're in. But we're back to green racing here. Fuse Rogue gets a really good jump on Evil Prime. Forza Juve needs to play the long game here and not want to stress about overtaking right away, but as well as he can't let Fuse Rogue get too far up the road. And Static Hazard loses it around turn 2, and that is the 3rd driver that turn 2 has taken this evening. And unfortunately, the solo McLaren is out of this session. That is not what you want to see if you're a fan of the Papaya Orange. as Crofty loves to say. Silent Banshee trying to work the inside line on Smith 630, and Smith gives way and Silent goes through on those fresh softs. Forza Juve trying to get past Evil Prime. Fuse Rogue is very far up the road. Texas Speech as well is going to try and outbreak Evil Prime. He's going to look around the outside. This is a big relegation battle here. Evil Prime is going to fight this one out, and he must. But Texas Speech is on those fresh mediums and goes through on Evil Prime. Dace now braking very late, nearly collecting the back of Evil Prime, but gets the car slowed down just enough into turn 15. And now Forza Juve, Texas Speech are going to try and hunt down Fuse Rogue. And I'm hoping these guys understand that battling each other isn't going to get the job done. So we'll see if that takes place. Evil Prime finding it a little bit difficult to keep up with these these fresh mediums. Mitch Burns has already fallen 3 seconds off this pace, and he's in 6th place, holding on to a somewhat of an open gap between himself and the drivers behind. Dace is going down the inside line onto Evil Prime, and he gives them the room around turn 2. And please, let's not lose another driver around turn 2. It has taken 3 of drivers' lives tonight, and I'm hoping that it will be the cap. We're on lap 18, 10 full laps to go after this lap is finished, and still plenty of racing left to be had. And the tire strategies are going to come into play soon enough. Silent Banshee is going to be in a tough position here, but he's going to try and make maneuvers as soon as he can. But he's fighting against drivers who are on fresh tires as well, so it's going to be a tough spot for Banshee when it gets to the end of this race. VTech looking for an overtake here, wanting to get into 14th place. Chief Braids on the hards as the outside, but VTech with the softer compound and the fresher tire gets the inside line through turn 12 and makes that overtake stick. Monkey Mafia and Houdini battling it out, and Houdini taking a very sharp line, but a little too sharp for the car's liking and can't make the turn, with Monkey Mafia cutting that corner out, and he'll drop back into 13th place. Detail and Smith 630 are battling it out on the final turn. Detail goes just off. Silent Banshee goes through as well, and he continues to try and chafe down Smith 630, and these old mediums are starting to really hurt. Forza Juve is closing that gap ever so slightly, but not quick enough on Fuse Rogue. 10 lap old hards in comparison to 3 lap old mediums. Evil Prime with the 3-second time penalty. Purple Sector by Dace. He's trying to catch up to Texas Speech and Forza Juve here, and he looks like he's got the job done. But he's putting some quality laps here, and hopefully these two drivers up ahead can close that gap to Forza Juve, where it gives himself a chance at a potential overtake. Texas Speech is sitting in a really good spot here, not being on any penalties, and he's actually going to get an overtake on Forza Juve with the help of DRS, and Forza doesn't fight that one too much. He allows Texas Speech through, but he's got to hope that Texas Speech can hold some solid pace and wasn't just relying on the DRS of Forza Juve to stay close, but instead is able to close the gap to Fuse Rogue all by himself. So a little bit of trust there in letting that driver through, and hopefully it'll benefit him in the end. Dace as well needs to understand that his battle isn't to be had quite yet. Still plenty of laps left to go before it can take place. So Fuse Rogue as well is without any penalties. So Texas Speech does need to get the job done before the race win. Still 9 laps to go. We're just starting lap 20 here. We're swinging around through the slalom now at the lead pack. Mitch Burns has gotten overtaken by Evil Prime. Or no, sorry, he's caught Evil Prime and has left Silent Banshee in behind him. Silent's trying to close the gap and is trying to drive away from Smith 630 for 7th place there. Smith would like to try and get this overtake done and then work his way onto trying to catch Dace, Forza Juve, and Texas Beach as well. Dace is gonna try and overtake Forza Juve, has the inside line on Forza, and gets the job done. Forza has to drop back into 4th place now. Now Dace is a second out of Texas Beach, and Texas Beach isn't closing that gap to Fuse Rogue quite quick enough. Now Mitch Burns trying to set something up for a good run out of turn 20. Prime gets a little bit away, but not far enough, and now Mitch Burns actually wants the outside line, goes off track to get it, and Evil Prime allowed him the inside line, but Mitch Burns really wanted that outside line and goes off track to get it, and now Evil Prime is actually going to come back, and Mitch Burns getting a penalty, and that's huge for him. That really hurts. Wasn't a really good spot having no penalties, but the battle with Evil Prime has forced him into one now. And there's only 3 drivers in the top 10 without a penalty. Even then, I'll extend it to the top 11 without a penalty. Everyone's got 3 seconds except for VTech. I mean, Texas Beach just doesn't look like he's going to be able to close that gap to Fuse Rogue. Fuse is putting in really good times here on the hards. We'll get his sector splits. He's nearly 3/10 off of his initial fastest lap. And now Knuckles, sorry, is trying to work on detail here. We got quite a few drivers in a little bit of a conga line here, entering sector 3. Monkey Mafia is caught up in that mix, and Detail and Knuckles make a little bit of contact, and Monkey Mafia is going to try and strike, but Knuckles blocks Monkey Mafia's way through. The Monkey's going to closely follow this battle. Evil Prime is into the pit. Detail is going to come into the pit as well. Maybe these drivers were banking on another safety car, but one did not come. Knuckles will get DRS from Detail coming to the pit, and that straight just isn't long enough for Monkey, but he's gonna get along the inside line, and yes, it just barely is, and Knuckles goes up onto the curb to allow room for Monkey, but Monkey won't be able to get through. Knuckles still holding on to 8th place. And Knuckles takes a far more aggressive line through the slalom here, leaving Monkey somewhat in his dust. As Monkey falls 3/4 of a second back, and Knuckles nearly seemingly drives away with 8th place. But Monkey won't let him get too far ahead. Texas Beach is well picking up a penalty, so this one is very much set for Fuse Rogue to take home the win. Tex can't close the gap, and has even tried to do, oops, there we go, I should have never turned off that battle there. Monkey Mafia gets Knuckles down the straight into turn 12, but is actually Puff Digital nearly getting position on Knuckles. And Knuckles going deep through 13 allows Puff Digital to almost get alongside, but Knuckles still holds on. But yeah, penalties to the top 5 drivers. Silent Banshee without one, but he is on the soft, so we'll see how long he's going to be able to make these things last before they really fall off. Smith 630 is in behind with 3 seconds worth of time penalties, and I imagine he's going to be able to start closing that gap to Silent Banshee fairly soon. 7 laps old are these softs for Silent Banshee. He's been running them pretty hard since the restart. But yeah, if you're tuning in for the first time for the Midwest F1 League, be sure to shoot us a follow. Very much appreciate it. We run Wednesdays and Thursdays starting at 6:30 Pacific, 9:30 Eastern every week. Next week is our Thanksgiving break week. No, is next week? No, week after. Thank you. Week after is our Thanksgiving break week, but I will be hosting the It's Not My Thanksgiving 1v1 duel. So be sure to tune in for that on that break week that we have. Break week slash not break week. We allow all of our American drivers, because this is an American-based league, to spend the time with their family. But for those that don't have Thanksgiving, we're going to be doing a little bit of a 1v1 tournament, so be sure to tune into that. It'll be fun. Quite the name, eh, Jacko?
I like it.
It's perfect. Gets the point across.
And how do people enter that, Crash?
Yes, I'll make another announcement, but on the league announcements there, if you scroll back a little bit, about 2 weeks ago or something, I did make an announcement to thumbs up or emote if you're interested and you're not American to compete in that. But like I said, I'll be doing another one soon, probably even tomorrow, a little bit closer. I was just trying to get numbers on who'd be interested, and I think we've got enough to make it happen. So heads up, ears open. Eyes open, ears. Oh, ear. Yeah, what's that saying?
Alert? I don't know.
Alert? Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. Just keep your eyes open for alerts on your Discord app.
Eyes peeled.
Eyes peeled. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'll find that out. I'll figure it out. I'll have it all set up for next week. But Dace is going to try and get second place here from Texas Beach. He's closed the gap back down to within a half a second. And Tex is going to try and drive away. And he's got a pretty good straight line set up here. But Dace is going to be able to close that gap and maybe be close enough into turn 12. And yeah, he does break very deep. And you got Texas Beach and him coming together on the outside of turn 12. But Texas Beach is going to be able to come back ahead, and Dace tries to go for a little bit of a switchback there, but Tex closes the door through turn 15 and holds on to second place. Forza Juve still sitting in fourth, just watching this battle commence ahead. I'm not sure exactly what happened to Smith 630, but he's 3 seconds back of Silent Banshee now. And with the penalty, so Puff Digital is just over 4 seconds, and he might have a shot at 7th place here. We're on lap 25 here. The lead pack is starting their slalom. Fuse Rogue is just over 2 seconds up the road, and I don't think Texas Beach is going to be able to close the gap and get the overtake done and then add 3 seconds on top for the race win. Fuse just needs to continually putting in some solid lap times here, and he's got the win wrapped up nicely, which will be a huge result for him here in his first race in Division 2, leading with the win. So you love to see it. Dace trying to extend that line as much as possible, getting right up on the curb. Dace is still a hopeful for Division 2 promotion, but he does need some quality finishes and ahead of the drivers ahead of him, with that being Houdini, Hightower, Monkey Mafia, Detail, Tiger NASCAR, and Nero next. So you can check off all of those boxes with him sitting third right now. And the closest one of that order that I listed is now currently sitting in 9th place. Will Dace get close enough here into turn 1? Texas Beach feels like he might. Goes to defend the inside line. By doing so, offers up a really awkward turn around the first turn, and both of them come together as Texas Beach comes off the curb, makes contact with Dace, and they're going to start wheel to wheel through the slalom. And Dace unfortunately spins out and goes into the wall on lap 26, and that will be it for Dace. I didn't catch if there was any contact between the two drivers or if it was just of Dace's own doing, but that is a yellow flag. No VSC or anything quite yet, but that is a rough go for Dace, and I'm not sure if 26 laps is enough. I think it is actually. Should be enough for the 90% for... Ouch, that hurts. For points for Dace here, but I completely broadcast cursed that for Dace He's sitting so well, and he's going to get some really good points, and a podium was in the cards for Dace there, but unfortunately, it's just it all went wrong. And now it's Forza Juve looking at second place with Texas Peach currently sitting there. And we'll see if he's going to be able to overtake Text on the final couple of laps here. We get on to lap 27 of 28. We are almost done here in the Circuit of the Americas. Knuckles is right on the back of Houdini. Evil Prime is on some fresh softs and trying to make some late overtakes here. He sits with 6 seconds worth of penalties, as does Knuckles. So they're battling straight for track position, and Knuckles getting another penalty, being the only driver right now with 9 seconds worth. And now Evil Prime is going to get the overtake done as well, being on the far fresher tire, and jumps up into 10th place. And now he's going to try and overtake Houdini, who goes wide through turn 1, and Evil Prime will get through. And now he's going to try and work on opening a 3-second gap on Houdini to hold on to 9th place. Hardest charger right now is Silent Banshee, actually. 6 positions gained from race start on these old softs, 11 laps old, and it looks like he's going to get the job done. He's got nearly 6 seconds to a driver behind with a penalty. Puff Digital looking to jump up into 6th place as well with no penalties, and the driver ahead with 6. Forza Juve just can't quite catch Texas Peach. Texas drained all of his ERS. Forza does have far more. And we're going to get on to the final lap here, so really Forza's only going to have 2 straights to get the job done. Tex gets a good launch out of turn 20. Forza won't have any sort of shout into turn 1. Does close the gap. Our leader, Fused Rogue's just finishing up the slaloms, comes around turn 10, down the hill into 11. He's got half the track left to go for his Division 2 win. And I think his maiden race, I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. Fuse takes an alternate line in through turn or out of turn 11. Now he's going to get into the slipstream of Texas Speech, using up that ERS. And he wants that inside line, but Texas Speech closes the door. Fuse Rogue has to go around the outside. Tex breaks late and comes across the racing line and holds on to 2nd place. But will Forza Juve be able to get through anywhere on these turns following? It's not looking so. Texas Speech is going to hold on to 2nd. Fuse Rogue is coming around the final couple of turns here through 19, but the 2 and 3 are swinging around 16, 17, and 18. Fuse is following Tex and will hold on to 2nd place. And Fuse comes over the line for the win. Tex will come 2nd. Forza Juve will end up 3rd. Mitch Burns coming around in 4th, but will drop to 5th with Silent Banshee, making these softs last 13 laps, or 12 laps, to jump up into 4th. Puff Digital will get 6th with Smith 630. I think he might have run into some trouble. Actually drops into 8th with Monkey going into 7th. Houdini finishes 9th, Evil Prime 10th, Knuckles 11th, VTech just missing out on 11th place, 0.08 of a second back of Knuckles. Chief Braids coming around the final turn with Detail to follow for 13th and 14th. So the Division 1 results see Jin with the win. Light Work with 2nd place and Mystic Joker with 3rd. Thanks, Bacon, for firing that in the chat. Damn. Whoa, Jacko, this guy uses the same face as you.
What? Imposter?
Yeah. No, I swear. So Jin getting the better of Mystic today, and Light Work as well getting the better of Mystic. But in Division 2 is what we care for on the main feed right now. Is Fuse Rogue getting the win and going penaltyless. Texas Beach second with a massive amounts of points that should launch him out of the relegation zone. Forza Juve third, Silent Banshee fourth, Mitch Burns fifth, another good finish by Mitch there. Puff Digital sixth, which is going to be big for him, and that's going to put his teammate Evil Prime potentially in the relegation zone. The Monkey Mafia 7th, Smith 638th, Houdini 9th, Evil Prime 10th, Knuckles 11th, VTech 12th, Chief Braids 13th, Detail 14th, and Dace will get 15th with the 90% rule. And Stat, Hightower, Saffron, and Nero Nix are your DNFs this race. So we want at Forza, at Tex, and at Fuse, and at, oh shoot, who's the last guy there? He's an Alpha, Silent Banshee. Alright, I'm just going to play the league video for everyone quick while I get news on the interviews. Okay. Seems like we're all set here. Oh, just one more thing. One last thing. Okay, Jack, I'm gonna start the interviews.
Okay.
Okay, hello everyone.
Oh, oh.
Can we get some mic checks? We'll start Fuse. Is your mic good?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, text to speech.
Hello.
Yeah, you're good. Dace? Dace? You're muted.
Yeah, sorry, I was mute until you guys asked me something.
Okay, no worries. Alright, we're all good for mics. Sounds good. Sometimes we have problems. But anywho, great race from you guys. Very entertaining. Good stuff. Fuse Rogue. I'm guessing you want to be called Rogue. Is that true?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Rogue with the win in the end, holding off on those hards. Now, after the safety car restart, were you at all nervous about those hards? The second one, that is.
Yeah, I was, honestly. I thought I made a big mistake with that one. But also, I was just like, temperatures were going to be good on those tires, so I just went for it.
So, what made you not want to pit? I mean, obviously it worked out in the end, but I mean, the rest of the field
probably
did.
for the most part, track position, and the tires were honestly feeling really good throughout that stint anyway. So I was like, I was just going to continue on them and see what happens.
Fair enough. I mean, you did have a little bit of help with the driver behind. I can't remember exactly who was behind you. That didn't pit as well.
I think it was Evil Prime.
Yeah, he's slowed up the pack a little bit.
Yeah.
Allowed you to break away, but once you kind of held that 2.5 second gap for like over 10 laps, it was very well done. You just kind of got into a groove there, hey?
Yeah, it felt really good on those tires, so I enjoyed that. Car felt good.
Okay, good stuff. Why don't you run us through how you kind of found yourself up in Division 2 today in your past races in Midwest?
Not really sure. Just got a DM saying if I wanted to move up, and I said sure. I was racing in like Div 5 and Div 6 around then.
Oh, okay. So did you even go into Division 4 or 3 at all?
No, I did not.
Oh, you just jumped straight up in Division 2, yeah. So you're one of the fast-tracked.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, that's good. So when did you join Midwest anyway?
Started Div 6, pretty much. I don't know when that was exactly, but around then.
Okay, so you're still fairly new. Now, how many other leagues are you in, and how do they compare to Midwest in your view?
Then 3 other leagues, and there's 2 of them that are actually have really, really fast drivers, and Mystic Joker's in one of them, and
Oh, he's a bum.
J Dunk and Lucas or light work.
Okay, cool. So you imagine you're going to be seeing yourself in Division 1, hopefully by the end of Season 5?
Maybe. I'm not sure.
No? Well, I mean,
points-wise, I don't really think so. Not this season. Anyway.
No, for sure. I guess I'm more meaning by the end of Season 5. Do you think you're going to be up for the championship in Division 2?
I think it's possible, maybe. But I don't know. I don't like to brag or anything like that. So.
Fair enough. Was COTA one of your stronger tracks then?
Maybe not. I don't know. That track, it's a nice track. Tires, they get real hot, when you're running a long stint. So it becomes sort of difficult depending on what you're doing.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, I'll end it with this. What's your confidence going into Imola next week?
I say medium. I haven't done much practice there.
Okay, fair enough. Well, congratulations on the win. Good to hear from you. Thanks for tuning into the interview. Feel free to stay if you'd like. Usually I allow anyone to give any shoutouts at the end.
All right, thank you.
No problem. All right, Texas Speech. I believe Jacko and I talked to you last week, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
And you're back again this week. What led you to getting up here, being in such a difficult position in your relegation battle in Division 2? How'd you find yourself on the podium this evening?
Well, I mean, those first laps in qualifying, I really was not comfortable with the setup at all. I really didn't know where I was going to be at the end of qualifying, but at the end there, actually on my first couple laps, I actually forgot to put on hot lap mode for the actual start of the lap, so that easily cost a couple of tenths, but at the end I just put together a really solid lap and got me on pole, and then I was leading for some of the race, and then I had that spin, so I was down a couple positions maybe, but then safety car and everything, changed the whole race, who was going to pit, who wasn't, and then the second safety car, obviously, and then that battle with Dace was super heated. I really did not know who was going to come out on top.
Yeah, I'm gonna allow Dace to talk about that one in a little bit there, but yeah, that was unfortunate. I saw that you apologized in chat, so I mean it was a 50-50. But what's your take on that, Text?
I got loose head at turn 1, then we're going around turn 2. I was thinking, I gotta back out. Tried backing out, and it just wasn't working out. Tried to back out like twice. We're still somehow alongside, so I just thought, man, I guess we'll go side by side, and I just didn't know where he was, where Dace was in that incident, and I just turned into abruptly, with the controller. That tends to happen, because obviously you can't get the same range as on a wheel, but I just didn't know where he was, so hope for the best, and then we made contact, so.
Yeah, I understand that, being on a controller player as well. It's but I mean, it's a tough spot, especially going into an area like that. Unfortunately, Dace was kind of caught up into that, but still a podium for you. Solid race. You got Imola next week. You should be able to work yourself out of relegation here. You only got a couple of tracks left to go. Were you kind of feeling the pressure heading into this race here?
Yeah, I did not practice as much as I usually would, and coming in this race, I was like, I really didn't care what was going to happen as much as I usually do. I just wasn't in the mood for some reason, but to come out in this result's really, really solid.
Well, yeah, I mean, you should work yourself out of relegation. Still have some work to be done. This is round 14 of 16, so 2 left, and best of luck in those last 2. And maybe I'll be talking to you in Division 1 someday, but I think this will be our last time this year. So good stuff, Tex, and it's good to hear from you. Best of luck in the future. All right, so Dace, you were on for a good finish. Unfortunately, what's your view on that text-to-speech collision that turned out being a crash for you?
I did my very best to be patient, because I was kind of hounding him for a good 5-6 laps, and I felt like I was pressuring him pretty good to where he was making a bunch of mistakes, so I didn't want to be like too close and make contact. And then that final lap, I was really close, and I was gonna go for that pass, and I felt like I had earned, after that turn 1 and he went wide and then spun into me. I felt like I had earned the position at that point. So I was irritated that we went side by side, because I felt like if my car control would have been compromised, or if I felt like it would have been like that, I wouldn't have went side by side with someone. But he apologized, and it's all good. I'm not mad or anything. It's racing.
Yeah, fair enough. It is what it is. It's a tough area on track, and yeah, it's.
Would have loved those points to get me even closer to P3 in the points, though.
Yeah, true enough. You will still get some for your troubles. You did complete the 90%, so.
How does that work? Will I just go get whatever points what I my car finished, or?
Yeah, exactly. If you complete
Okay.
90% of the race, then yeah. So you
Okay.
you just made enough. So I think you'll get like 15th place points or whatever it was.
How did you guys enjoy that chess at the front? I think that was really fun.
The what? Sorry.
I felt like that was chess at the front. It was really fun to have like 4 guys on the same pace, just
Oh yeah.
PRS training it.
No, that was good. There's a lot of battles all over the track. I was following a lot of different battles, but I always wanted to keep your guys in the limelight there, and it was definitely proved itself worthy. It was really quality stuff from a lot of you guys, and
These new guys are making it fun.
yeah, good to hear. Good to hear. Hopefully you can. Well, anywho, yeah. So what's your how do you feel going into Imola next week then? Do you think you've got the pace to for these new guys, or you were potentially up for a podium here today with that circumstance, but is what it is, and you're gonna work into Imola. How are you gonna go there?
I think it's one of my best tracks. I actually feel like with these new guys, we're actually very even, so it's exciting because I just think it ends up whoever is more consistent during the races who's gonna get the upper hand. But I think today I could have gotten pole if I would have nailed the lap. But excuses. I felt like it was really close, so it's interesting.
Yeah, fair enough. But like you said, it's racing, right? It's
yeah.
You can't predict it. So
Yep.
Best of luck going into Imola. Hopefully we'll see you in Division 1 someday. I think you've got the pace, but like you said, Division 2 is getting quicker, and it's just going to get harder to get up there.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah. Good luck then, Dace.
I'll see you guys soon.
Yeah, thanks for coming into the interviews. Jack, do you have anything to say? I mean, you don't really know what happened.
I have no clue what to ask because I was racing in my own race. So just congratulations to everyone who got onto the podium and scored some good points.
Yeah, all right, good stuff. Any shout-outs from the drivers there? And you want to say hi to anyone? No.
Shout out Forza because that was a great battle as well. He hung on there at the end. Wait, did you finish P4, P3?
P3. We were battling. We were actually battling last lap. He almost got me into the turn 12 after the second DRS then, but I held him off.
Yeah. GG's.
Rogue,
I want to give a quick shout out to my boy Jonathan Dunk down in Div 6. Hopefully see him up there soon.
Nah, he's trash. But yeah, thanks though, guys.
Imagine being Div 6.
Yeah. Good luck the rest of the season, guys. Yeah, enjoy.
See ya.
Alright, well, that brings an end to Division 2 there, Jacko. What was your take on it?
Well, it sounded like a fun race from what you were saying, and Division 1 sounds like it was something interesting to watch, so I guess we'll have to go and watch Hotspot's stream as well.
Yeah.
Apparently there was a massive battle for P2. Division 5 less so, there were a couple of battles, but the lead was pretty much held by Edwin most of the way. I ended up P2 and we had Hewlett on the podium as well, so shout out to those guys. And my Australian counterpart HSV was in P4.
Oh, I guess you heard that Stat actually crashed out.
I did. That's unfortunate for the Australian trio.
Yeah, that's rough. Jin posted a video of his race-winning overtake. Oh, I think he was clearing some of the field and then was able just to stay out. Oh, interesting. Okay, then anyhow. Yeah, well, are you going to be back next week, or what's your plan? Are you just going to keep going through the divisions now?
I have no fixed plan. I'd love to do both things. Obviously, they're at the same time, so I can't. So we'll see what next week brings. I'll check in as a reserve and as a commentator and see what happens. Imola though, I would like to be on track. I think.
Okay. All right. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But so what was the podium for Division 5? Sorry, if you already said.
We had GSR Edwin. He was pole to victory. I was front row and second place, and then we had Hewlett in third place.
Nice. So more points for Ulick. That's
No,
division.
Hewlett, not Ulek.
Hewlett. Oh, okay.
Ulek was P5 or 6, I think.
Oh,
Yeah, I think he's still looking pretty decent because I think a lot of the guys who were in that race were not in his division full time.
where's Guitar Man Khan? That's his closest rival, I guess.
Give me a second to look at the results. Guitar Maniac, that's a different dude, okay. Guitar Maniac had a DNF.
Oh, what? Oh, yeah, there is
They're
Guitar
two guitar
Maniac.
dudes.
Yeah, Guitar Man Khan and Guitar Maniac. I was kind of confused when you said that earlier. I was like, what do you mean, Guitar Man Khan? Because I know that.
Yeah, I mean, there's GSR Edwin, there's GSR Edgar. I mean, it's very, very similar names.
Oh my.
I'm just fast forwarding through my highlights, my entire race actually, to see the results. So, the full results were Edwin, Jacko, Hewlett, HSV, Adrillock, I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Ulek Holvin is P6, Darkness King in 7th, Dissection 8th, The Real 9th, Green Hornet 10th, Jay Cernasa in 11th, J Dog in 12th, Guitar Maniac, Feeman, Texas Rooster, Cobain, and the Rob HT with DNFs. So I guess the gentleman that you were talking about did not race in this division at least. Guitar Man Khan, I don't see him on this leaderboard.
Oh.
Indeed, he's an Aston Martin driver, and there was a replacement Aston Martin driver in this race.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, in fact, Dissection's the next one down. He's currently P6 in the standings. And he lost out to Ulek. So I think Ulek's looking pretty good, especially as the points available winning in Division 5 are not as high as other divisions.
All right. Well, yeah, I guess that's all she wrote for the stream this evening there, Jacko. Thanks for being alongside it and being the caster that you were.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I was really alongside it or like diagonally adjacent to you this week.
Slightly behind, maybe.
Yeah, definitely behind. Certainly not sure of what I was talking about when I was referring to your race, but yeah, happy to still be commentating, sort of, and we'll see what next week holds.
Okay, sounds good. But yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in again on your Thursday. We appreciate it. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Everyone have a good rest of your Thursday. Have a good weekend. The same old from me. YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram. Be sure to shoot those a follow. And as well, enjoy the weekend, and we'll be seeing you on Wednesday. As per usual, I've been Crash Queen. I've been joined kind of by Elma Jacko. We've been Midwest F1 League. Thank you and good night.